And welcome to Forever and Always. Falling in love is a beautiful thing, and most importantly, when you find the love of your life. Today I'm joined by a beautiful couple that are on their way down the aisle, and we're just going to be chatting a little bit more about that phase and that process. REGODISE, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. Please introduce yourself to my lovely viewers.
Okay, my name is Youve, and I am Modise's fiance. And we've been together for 7 years and on our way to getting married. So we've been engaged for 12 months? No, 10 months.
No, 10 months.
10 months.
10 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Correction, actually, it's 8 years this year, yeah?
8 years
Yeah,
this
8 years this year. By the way, I'm Modise, and yeah, fiance to this beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous woman.
Awesome. Lovely to hear that. So how's the engaged process been for you, like walking into marriage?
Wow, you wanna go for it, love?
For us, I think it's been an overwhelming experience. I think it's been beautiful. It's not, you can't really have expectations on it. Yeah. I didn't have expectations because I wasn't ready. He told me that I'll only propose to you when I'm like 30. And I'm like, okay, no problem. So for me, it was just a matter of, oh my goodness, okay, now I'm engaged. Now I have to plan a wedding, have to plan everything. So for me, it's been an overwhelming experience.
Well, it's been a learning curve, I must say. It's been fun as well, I must say. We've spent a lot of time clashing heads, trying to think of how's this journey gonna turn out. Yeah, beyond engagement, but we're in the moment right now. We don't want to live outside this moment, so yeah, it's just all about learning and preparing ourselves, getting ready for this next step in our life.
I like that. That is so inspiring, and I hope everyone that's watching this is really getting inspired. But I want to talk about your dating phase. How was that like?
Wow, for 7 years.
Yeah, because that's a very long time.
It's forever, hey? Yeah. Michelle, let me tell you something. So I eyed out this beautiful woman back in high school, right? So I had an interest in her, but long story short, she didn't want to date me in high school. Yeah. So it took, literally.
I didn't date him. I couldn't look at him boys. So I was like, I know, I'm not going to do that.
See, so I was hated because of the stigma. But anyway, it was only post high school that she said, okay, cool, let's kick this off. Even that was difficult because of her parents. Okay, so she has, right? Still are very strict parents, right? So they wouldn't allow her to date until she was like 21. Wow. And being 2 years apart from each other now. So I had to wait for her to turn like 21, but I didn't. She was 19 and I said, no, I'm 21, so I'll date you. So we hit it all. But it's been a challenge because for 7 years I've had to build this relationship, not just with her, but with her parents as well. I had to earn their trust and prove myself worthy of being someone who can actually one day ask her hand in marriage. Literally,
yeah, so for me it was a bit tough because I had to tell my parents, because I couldn't have a boyfriend before then. So then I was like, dude, if we do date, I need to tell my parents. And I did eventually tell them, and little did I know that they actually did like him. And I was like, oh, okay, sure thing.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, ironically, yeah.
It's interesting you say that you guys have been together for 7 years, because I think what we're finding a lot with people is, and I think our generation, we want things quick. Like we want to date for a few months and then put a ring on my finger. Yeah.
But what's the symbol of a ring at the end of the day?
And I think just the chase for marriage itself. I really would like you to chat a little bit more about that 7 years. Were you expecting Rego for him to propose? Were you yearning for that marriage, or was it just you trying to get to know each other?
No, for me, I actually really didn't want to get married
at all.
I was not the fairy tale girl who dreamt about Cinderella weddings or dreamt about anything like that. So I was closed off, and he knew it, and he fought for it. He was like, no, I'm dating you to get married to you. And then in the back of my head, I was like, no, I'm not about married life. Like, I don't want that, So for me, no, I didn't. But eventually I grew into it. He showed me by the way he loved me, by the way he cared for me, the respect that he gave me, and eventually we grew into it. But like I said, he eventually said, no, we'll get married whenever, So it's still at the back of my head that no, we'll get married whenever we get married, But little did I know that he literally was planning small little steps to make sure that I'm gonna make you my wife, and not just for the status of my wife, but because of it's God's plan to have a wife.
That's it. And on my side, mean, I knew. Like I told her in the beginning, right? Remember, love?
I remember.
I told her, I'm here for marriage. Okay, so it's dating with purpose. Being a child of God, of course, understanding the principle and the desire for God to see people married. He's people married, and he's all about family. And I've always told her that I want to build a family one day, and you're the partner I want. I want to raise my kids with you. I want you to be the mother of my kids. And so yeah, it's been a journey for 7 years. Why 7 years? People may ask, for so long, like you asked. Some people just want to get into it so quickly. But like I said, I had to hold her hand and show her that, you know what, I do love you, and I'm not here for any other reasons that young people might think, oh, I'm here for sex, or I'm here for, or I'm dating the trophy wife. Or, you know, it's not about that. The church girl. No. It was all about that, and yeah, for 7 years. And hey, biblically knowing that 7 is perfection, I just knew that after 7 years, it's the perfect time to pop the question. Thankfully, she said yes. That's all I can say. Thankfully. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I am very blessed.
A very lucky man. So I also want to get into the 7 years. I mean, she mentioned something that you were quite the chama boy, you know, and there's that stigma. And I think with church girls as a whole, where you might really like a chama boy, but you're like, I'm not going to get close to that. And then you, by the looks of things, happen to be the chama boy that's saved, and that is Jesus. You know, what was that like for you, just trying to prove yourself to her?
It was a challenge. I'm gonna keep saying this. It was a challenge because no matter what I tried, it was always like, yeah, pretty boy, you're just trying to get to me and this and that. But honestly, I had to be authentic and genuine with myself and prove to her that I'm genuinely saved. I am in love with my Jesus, and he comes first before you, my love.
Definitely.
Till today, she knows.
And I don't mind.
And she knows. She'll always find me in the house of the Lord, in the worship team. That's where my ministry is. And so I've had to sort of walk her through this and invite her and let her see my lifestyle. I had to expose my lifestyle, and she saw it, that this guy is all about the Lord, and he's always in the house of the Lord. And
basically what many people don't know is that he helped me actually get closer to God. Yes, it might be the other way around. Mostly it's the female that helps the male, but it's actually him. We had SCA in high school, so he was part of the SCA.
That's like a student.
Were you guys in the same high school?
Yeah. By the way, we went to the same high school.
Yes. And after high school, basically my parents went to a certain church, and they said I could only choose the church that I wanted to go to until I was 21. So therefore, after that, after high school and stuff, I started church hopping, and Modise came with me. Even though he had a church, he willingly came with me, and we church hopped until I felt comfortable, which was with his church actually, not because he was there, but because of, you know, you want to find a church that you can feel at home, you can feel the anointing of the Holy Spirit. You know that the word, they're talking according to the word, and not about a show, a spectacular about how the production is at church. It's not about that. It's about, at the end of the day, what word did I get from God, you know? So, and that's what led me to Modise's church. So after that, we've been in the church together every Sunday. He's, well, when I can, he's at church, band practices. So I understand those kind of obligations that he has.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, God comes first.
And which I do not mind. For me, you have to love God first before you love me. And he does love God. He prays, you know, we lead each other into prayer. You know, we pray for each other. And for me, that's the best gift that I could ever ask for. And I prayed actually after high school. I prayed to God. I'm like, God, I'm actually praying for a man who will love me and who will support me. And God gave him what he said. He delivered. He literally delivered.
Yeah, he did. He delivered. That's really good to hear. Let's talk about those 7 years while you're trying to prove yourself. What was that every day like? What are the practical things you had to do? Like, when you woke up in the morning, what were you so conscious about doing to ensure that you still capture her within that 7 years, to ensure that you're still there, you're still being the man?
Well, the little shiveries that us guys need to do. So, of course, trying to sweet talk her, send a few emojis that will make her blush.
Was it still mixed?
Yeah, it was mixed. Early WhatsApp. Early WhatsApp. Era. That era. But yeah, doing those kind of little things, as well as inviting her to dates. Obviously, asking her out to dates. Geez, what did I do for you, love?
For us, it was different because I lived in the Eastern Cape for a year and 3 months. So for us, the most important thing was to Skype. Skype.
Video calling.
Was our date time. Was actually chatting with each other, and that's what we did more in that the first part of the 7 years. And when we came back, it's more of going out, movies. We love movies.
Yeah, we love our date nights.
Yeah, we love going out because of obviously we don't live together, so therefore we had to do activities outside of the house, going out and being out and about.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So you literally just had to do all the other stuff.
I had to do that other stuff, and apart from obviously inviting her to church and worshiping with her, but we do all these activities together. Yeah.
And how was it for you, Rego, in terms of just that day-to-day and really receiving that? And I'm asking this question because I think as women in general, there's certain ideas and there's certain things that are in our heads about relationships, you know, and you're in a situation where you've got this beautiful man, but things are relatively a bit more different from you. It's not the fairy tale that everyone sold. You know, what was that like day-to-day for you?
I think the very important thing is to not compare your relationship to anybody else. It's to not think of it as, oh, Mang has a great relationship, let me try emulate. Just because that other person brings the girlfriend flowers or chocolates, you know, I can't have that same expectations because I have to think about where he is in his life as well, financially. Okay, is he in varsity? Is he finished? You know, has he started his first job? There was a couple of months where he didn't work, so obviously, therefore, I had the funds to help out. You know, go out on dates. So you can't have expectations to say, oh no, take me out. You can't be demanding in a relationship. You have to communicate. Communicate doesn't mean, okay, babe, do this. It's understanding that, okay, I understand that you don't have cash now. It's okay. I'll pay for the movies this time. We'll go out this time. But because we like being outgoing, we can't sit still. We have to be out and about. But we'll get the funds to be out and about so that we can form a relationship together. So whatever it may be. So I didn't have expectations of flowers but there were those random times where I came back from Eastern Cape and he would present me with flowers and chocolates, and that's okay. That's fine. Yeah.
And affirming, in fact, you know, Rego, as beautiful as she is, there's a lot of times she doesn't think she's so pretty actually, and having to affirm to her that, listen, you are this gorgeous woman, just to knock that truth in her, and so that she can build her own self-esteem and confidence. Doing that daily, that was like my daily ritual. I had to do it. Affirming her. Words of affirmation.
How important was that to you?
It was important because I'm like, again, I keep saying I'm not like a typical girl who's all fairy tales and stuff. And for him to say those things, you know, you look at yourself in the mirror, you're like, okay, thank you, my baby. I understand, you know, but obviously not having a big head about it, because for me, it's about being humble, and it's not about, you know, flaunting, okay, you are pretty. If you are, then just make yourself look good for him, but then doesn't mean that now I'm about to post it everywhere saying, all right, look at me. No, because that's going to bring in more trouble if you do that.
Yes. Okay. So within that, I think before the 7 years, before you got into a relationship with him, you said you were praying to God for a man, and I also would like to think that you were also praying for a spouse. What were those characteristics that you were looking for?
I definitely asked God for a man who prays, a man who could lead me to church, which he did, and a man who could love me and basically love him first before he loves me, because I know if you love God, you will attain those attributes and then pass it on to me. So for me, that was very important, and it was. I really didn't have a checklist or a ticking all the boxes. For me, it was just a man. I didn't care how he looked like. Hence why I was like, chama boy, whatever, I don't care. For me, I could date anybody and everyone. It didn't matter about how you looked. For me, it's about God, number one, because I know that with God you can go far. So that's what I did. I didn't have a box to tick.
Really? I had a whole list. I really had a whole list, and I was like, the Lord, listen, he needs to be tall, dark, and this and this. I really had a whole list, because I think what a lot of people don't realize is that in as much as men care a lot about image and attraction, I think women are the same as well. Like, you'll find that when you get married, you're going to start dressing him, or you like recommending outfits because...
No, she started already.
Exactly.
What I'm wearing already.
You see? Yeah, because women are visual as well. And And I think for me, it was important to kind of establish that with Jesus first, to say, listen, this is the direction I was, this is the direction I would like to take, you know, because I think there's a stigma that Christian women, we settle for everything. We really, and that's really not the case. It's never is. At some point, there are certain characteristics that we need. There's a gentleness and a kindness and a style, you know, a look. I don't know if you hear what I'm saying. What were those for you? Like those neaty little silly things?
Well, for me, I'll bring it back to the love and respect. I think the important thing was to respect me and to know who I was and to help me grow as a person, as an individual. He needed to have those attributes to help me grow as an individual, and I think that's important to me. And he did. I'm better than what I was 7 years ago, which is good. You need growth in a relationship. You need to see that timeline. Something's different.
Yeah. And for you, what were you looking for?
I'll be more explicit.
Okay.
I wanted a beautiful woman.
Yes!
Number one, she had to be gorgeous. She had to compliment me, number one. So that was my prayer. Lord, may she please be Tswana, because I'm Tswana. It just had to be in my culture. I just needed it there. And she must be gorgeous. Well done. Yeah, he did a good job. Yeah. He delivered. And she had to be born again, saved, and understands the importance of having God as the center of any relationship and any ambition that we try to pursue. So she ticked that box. She had to be a little bit of, a little giddy, sweet smile, of course. Be willing to communicate, little small chats and, converse like that. And, be spontaneous.
Yeah, I think for me as well as outgoing and adventurous. Adventurous.
Be willing, just be daring and, willing to try new things. And, he delivered.
He did. Hashtag he delivered. That's the hashtag for the day. So and I think for me it's really inspiring to hear that, and for a lot of other people as well, because the whole idea is, and as much as we are still Christian, we still have certain attractions and certain things in partners that we need, and you are justified to want those things as long as they are realistic, you know. But we're going to be going for a break shortly, and after the break we're going to be chatting more about headship and submission. Dong dong dong. I'm actually excited about that chat. Don't forget to engage with us on our social media platform. It's at Forever and Always SA, or you can actually send us an email if you've got any anonymous questions at foreverandalwaysafrica@gmail.com. See you in a moment.